Good evening. We invite you to watch the English news on essential television channel of Đồng Province. On May 15th, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attended a ceremony to celebrate Vietnam Science and Technology Day, celebrating the 65th anniversary of the establishment of the Ministry of Science and Technology and Tạo Quang Vũ Award Ceremony 2024. On behalf of the government, the Prime Minister acknowledged and praised the efforts, achievements, and contributions of a team of scientists in particular and the science and technology industry in general to the country. At the common time, the Prime Minister emphasized 6 key tasks, of which it is necessary to build mechanism and policy to develop inclusive and comprehensive science and technology, make appropriate investment in scientific and technological infrastructure, improving the quality of human resources, especially human resources for social sciences and humanities, especially female scientists, young scientists, and public scientists working in remote and disadvantaged areas. Congratulating to the scientists who were awarded this year's Tạo Quang Vũ Award, the Prime Minister urged scientists to continue to be aware of their great responsibility to the country in order to contribute to building Vietnam into an increasingly strong and prosperous country with people living in peace and happiness. According to Decision Number 5, 2024 of the Prime Minister on the mechanism for adjusting the average retail electricity price effective from May 15, in case the calculated average electricity selling price decreases by 1% or more compared to the current average electricity selling price, Vietnam Electricity (EVN) is responsible for reducing the average electricity selling price at a corresponding level. In case the average electricity selling price needs to be adjusted from 3% to less than 5% compared to the current average electricity selling price, EVN decides to adjust the average electricity selling price at a corresponding level. In case the average electricity selling price needs to be adjusted from 5% to less than 10% compared to current average electricity selling price, EVN is allowed to adjust the average electricity selling price at a corresponding level after reporting and being approved by the Ministry of Industry and Trade. In case the average electricity selling price needs to be adjusted by 10% or more compared to current average electricity selling price, or affects the macroeconomic situation on the basis of electricity price plan dossier submitted by EVN, the Ministry of Industry and Trade assumed the prompt responsibility for inspecting, reviewing, and sending comments to the Ministry of Finance ministries and relevant authorities. Also, according to this decision, electricity prices will be adjusted at least every 3 months when input parameters change as above. Acting Chairman of the Provincial Bills Committee, Võ Tấn Đức, has just signed and issued Notice Number 5221 on the implementation of VNEID and a switching solution to use VNEID as the only account in carrying out administrative procedures in a digital environment. Accordingly, departments, agencies, and localities are required to strengthen the responsibility of the heads of agencies and units to improve the quality of service, transparency in the implementation of administrative procedures, and the provision of public services to people and businesses, strengthen administrative discipline and order, and ensure the necessary conditions to implement the switch to using VNEID as the only account for conducting administrative procedures and providing public services in the digital environment from July 1st, 2024, in accordance with the Government Decree Number 59/2022 on electronic identification and authentication. Units and localities must closely coordinate with Provincial Police Department and Department of Information and Communication to complete the switch solution to use VNEID as all account for conducting administrative procedures and providing public services in the digital environment. The provincial leaders also assigned the Department of Information and Communication to take the lead in coordinating with Provincial Police Department, Đồng Nai Radio and Television Station, and Đồng Nai Newspaper to intensify propaganda of this content to have people understand and participate in the implementation. On May 16, Singapore's fourth Prime Minister, Mr. Lawrence Wong, was sworn in the ceremony held at the grounds of the Astana Palace. In his inaugural address, Mr. Lauren Wong outlined two key roles that a new government in Singapore must fulfill. The first one is to design and implement necessary and important policies after consulting with different segments of society. The second one is to expand interaction with the public, like a supporter, a listener, finding ways to engage groups, listen to each other's perspective, and come to compromises for Singapore to move forward. Regarding economy, Mr. Lauren Wong wants Singapore to be a place with many different paths to success, where people from all walks of life have their basic needs met. When considering how best to move Singapore forward, the new government is ready to reconsider basic assumptions to accommodate the ever-changing circumstances, needs, and expectations of society, the region, and the world change. Regarding foreign policy, Mr. Lawrence Wong noted that Singapore's approach is to stick to its national interests and act consistently and principally. Singapore currently has high international standing in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, and promoting relations with ASEAN is one of Singapore's top goals. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova announced on May 16th that Moscow will consider all foreign mercenaries and weapons brought to Ukraine to be legal military targets. Ms. Zakharova made a statement commenting on information that Estonia, a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is considering sending soldiers to Ukraine. Similar proposals have also been made by other European countries, including France. In a statement yesterday, Zakharova also said that Russian forces will destroy all U.S. supplied military equipment in Ukraine. She also claimed that Ukraine's repeated attacks on civilians in the Belgorod border region of Russia are evidence of the crimes of Kiev and its Western supporters. She warned that all those responsible for the attacks would be punished. Ms. Zakharova's statement comes at a time where Alexei Kharkivsky, the police chief of the town of Volchansk in the northeastern Ukraine Kharkiv region, said that Russian forces had tapped several strongholds inside the town and fighting there was intense. You have just watched the English news on Essential TV channel of the Night Province. Goodbye and see you again.